Well, hello everyone, and welcome back if you've been with us already in some sessions. We are going to take a tour of a Google office, and we have two Googlers here with us. Before we get to those guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Armstrong. Here with us is also Dennis. Next slide, Brooke, if you don't mind. I'm based out of Calgary. I'm one of the co-founders of the Cobblestone Collective, and Cobblestone Collective is a group of educators from all over our country, and Dennis is here helping us out. Dennis, why don't you say a quick hello?
Hello, everybody. I'm from Winnipeg. Go Jets, go. They just won their first round, so sorry, Edmonton Oilers fans. I'm just working here in the background, helping out Kevin and Brooke and Michelle. So looking forward to a great session. Have a great time.
Awesome. And we are coming to you live via YouTube, where you can pause us at any point if it goes too quick. If Brooke or Kevin have great jokes and you want to hear them again, you can rewind and hear them again and play them over and over and over. Problem with YouTube Live? You can see us, but we can't see you. But we do have a way that you can communicate with us. And you'll see it on the screen, the cc.page/STEAM4A. That's the form we're going to use in this session so that you can ask your questions to Brooke and Kevin. You know what? I think in the interest of time, we don't even need to practice this. We're going to get in there and ask you some real questions coming up soon. I'm going to turn it over to Brooke.
Actually, I think I'm taking this.
Yep.
Welcome. I hope you're having a great morning. Today, we're going to be giving you a virtual tour of the Google office. We're going to be going over the Waterloo office, which is the office that Brooke and I work at. Just to start with some introductions, I'm Kevin, and I'm a software engineer here at Google. And I'm going to pass it off to Brooke.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I am also a software engineer at Google. Kevin and I are both on EngProd, which is engineering productivity, and we're on the Stadia team. So Stadia is the tool that allows you to stream AAA games from the cloud, so you can play on any device. And within EngProd, our main task is to make all the other Stadia developers as productive and effective as possible. So we build a lot of the automation infrastructure behind the scenes, which is super interesting in my opinion.
Thanks, Brooke. So we are all consumers of technology, and behind that are Googlers, and Brooke and I are an example of that. We are the human power behind the compute power. And every day, Brooke and I help to create technology. At Google, we have more than 100,000 Googlers around the world across all different sites, and everybody is helping to create technology. I want to see in the forums if you can guess how many offices, how many Google campuses there are around the world. Just keep in mind, we have over 100,000 Googlers.
And in case you missed that link, I know I see lots of you in there, but the cc.page/STEAM4A is the form. And some of you may already know this because we might have had a bit of a spoiler in the last session. So if you were there, you've already got a hint on this. So are there some answers coming in there, Brooke and Kevin?
I'm taking a look.
Lots of answers for sure. Oh, yeah, my goodness.
I'm seeing a lot of numbers.
Jack said 965. That was from Jack. Olivia says 3,000. I don't know. Olivia, 3,000.
I see some very, very close responses. Some are exactly correct. And so the right answer is 956. And I see a couple of you knew that. I'm very impressed. So yeah, at Google, we have sites all over the world. And Google has the goal of creating the healthiest, happiest, and most productive workplace in the world. Google has sites across many countries, including Canada. And we have 4 sites here in Canada: Waterloo, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. So I'm going to hand it off to Brooke, who's going to show you the tour of our Waterloo office. And I want you to keep in mind as she's going that every perk and every part of the office, it exists to help towards this goal of having the most productive and the happiest workplace.
Okay, let's hope we can get this to load. Go big. Excellent. So this is our Google office in Waterloo. It started out actually as a rubber factory that was then converted into a more modern office space. Here's one of our cafeterias. We have 2 in the office, and Google provides us breakfast, lunch, and dinner 5 days a week, minus the dinner on Friday. Instead, we kind of get an afternoon snack. So our cafeterias provide lots of food options for us to try to keep us, our brains healthy and thinking real hard throughout the day. So we have plenty of open office workspace in our building. I think it's at 185,000 square feet for this first building. It also provides a whole bunch of collaborative spaces. The most important part when you're trying to develop new ideas is to have these spaces that you can go and relax and hang out with your coworkers so you can bounce ideas off each other. Even though a lot of the times it looks like we're just playing, we're actually building a better relationship, so that way we feel comfortable throwing out ideas, all sorts of ideas, basically. We also have several micro kitchens in our office space. There's an internal joke that no Googler should be more than 150 feet away from food at any given point in time. Finally, the Canadian offices do this cool thing with caricatures where every employee who joins our office gets one. Obviously, we are a bit behind due to COVID, but when we go back to the office, we will catch right back up with all of our new employees. Again, as we go through this, you're going to see lots and lots of collaborative workspaces, as well as different workspaces. Sometimes we don't do our best work sitting at our desk all day. We need a change in environment, a change in feel, and that way we can, debug those difficult problems. Google also does a lot of outreach and brings groups into the office. That's obviously Google Lens, so the where you put your phone in can look through it. They also offer a lot of spaces that let you develop your own ideas. They do a thing called Inno Week, where every now and then you don't have to work on your regular job function and you get to come up with something new and develop new ideas working with your team. I'm just going to pause it real quick so I can keep talking. So that way you're able to, if you have a really cool idea, but it's not directly related to your work, you can take a whole week of time to work with others and build this cool idea. If it's something that then can be turned into a product, you can even then pitch it to others. And if it gets, a lot of following, that could become a new Google product, which is so, so cool that every single engineer has this opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, they also have these micro kitchens, which we're seeing another shot of a different micro kitchen here. There's snacks in there, all sorts of things from, fruit to chocolate to chips, any kind of drinks you want. We also provide a barista bar. So for those who need coffee, like myself, this barista bar is open throughout the day, so we can have any sort of drinks that we need or want. With all of the food and the coffee and everything, we have Google chefs who sources the ingredients. I'm just going to pause it again. The other really cool thing about our cafeterias is when you get an opportunity to go to our office and experience it, if you look around, you don't see a lot of garbage cans within the cafeteria. This is because all of the food, we try not to waste, right? And with having open buffets, only take what you can eat. But then all of the food that's returned is actually weighed and tracked. This way, our chefs can use this data, analyze it, and then decide how much to buy in the future. That way, we're not wasting as much food. It also... we have screens up in the cafeteria that provide us the information with how much water is wasted with that wasted food. Google relies on data for everything. And that's what drives a lot of our decision-making processes. And so part of, my day-to-day work actually as well is, as I'm building out tools for other engineers, is how do we then analyze how well this tool is working? How many people are using it? What is the feedback from those people? How can we improve it? Things like that. Google also provides us with a wellness center. So part of that is because in order to get, your blood pumping and your brain working real hard, one way to do that is with exercise. And so by providing this to us, if you're working on a really difficult problem throughout the day, you can just get up and go to the gym and just take a break, get away from the problem. Our brains might just be working on that problem in the background. And so it'll come up with a solution, and then you'll go back to your desk and be like, oh, I just made this one mistake, or I need to change this one thing. So that's part of what Kevin was saying about the happiest and the healthiest employees. Whoops, I'm trying to press play. There we go. So these gyms are open 24/7 for Googlers. So we can go in and work out whenever we need to, whether that's during the workday or not during the workday. One really cool feature about the Waterloo office is they have a rock wall. I think only 2 Google offices have a rock wall, and we are one of them. And it's completely self-repelling. So you just have to take a course on it, and then you're allowed to use it. The moose there is Beasley. He is our office mascot. He's half cyborg, which is super cool. And one really cool feature about the Google Office is there's lots of hidden perks, I guess you could say. So this one is our secret room. And it's also escape room to get out. So you have to solve a puzzle in order to get out. And we have perks like this all over the office that just promote a sense of joy, basically, within our engineers, trying to keep them happy throughout the workday. Excellent. So
Brooke, this is awesome. You know what? I know your next slide is opening up to Q&A, but holy smokes, are the questions already flying in. So students, if you do have burning questions for Brooke or Kevin, maybe it's about the Waterloo office, maybe it's about being a Googler, go ahead and put those in that form. Brooke, do you want me to ask some that are already in there?
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Do you know one question that came from a lot of people was, is the food free?
That's an excellent question. And yes, it is. It is free for all Googlers, all of the meals. And we are even allowed to bring guests, only a couple a month. It can't be a regular thing. But if you happen to know a Googler, you might be able to get in for a free lunch. It's very, very nice.
Awesome. So Isabella had a really great question. Is your work fun, or are you just showing the good things and not the bad? Want to answer that one, Kevin? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the work is a lot of fun, but that is to say that there are some stressful times. Definitely, sometimes there can be a lot of pressure, but I think the office definitely helps alleviate a lot of that pressure. If you're feeling overwhelmed, there's always places to take a break and to hang out with your coworkers. So, yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Another really great question. This is from Norman. Do you guys use Chromebooks at Google?
Good question. Yes, I'm using one right now.
How about you, Kevin? Are you a Chromebook user?
I have in the past, but right now I'm not.
Well, and I wonder, now I'm just going to add a follow-up question. Coding, is there coding you can do on a Chromebook and some coding you can't do on a Chromebook? What would the answer to that be?
That's a great question. So the Chromebook provides you with the Chrome OS. And so any in-browser coding that you can do on the Chromebook. Being at Google, they provide us with a lot of incredible development tools. So that is why I am actually able to do 90% of my job on a Chromebook, because I am able to access it through the browser. If you wanted to run programs locally or code locally, then you would need a a different type of laptop for that.
That makes sense. Awesome. Another question. This is from Delia, is wondering about internships. Are there a lot of internships at the Waterloo office?
I can answer that one. I actually started as an intern at Google. I interned twice at the Waterloo office. An internship is, for me, when I was a part of Google while I was studying university.
Google also offers, there's a program called CSSI, the Computer Science Summer Institute, and that is for up and coming university students. So if you're still in high school and you're about to go to university, and it is a month-long, I believe, intensive coding camp for people who have never coded before. They also have an advanced course for people who do have coding experience, and you get to come in and you work with real Googlers to learn how to code and then build out these incredible apps from your own ideas. So there's internships available for those in college, and then there's CSSI for those in high school.
That's awesome. And students, if you're missing any of these programs that we're talking about, your teachers are going to be sent information with all of these links. CSSI, that program, of course, you could Google it, but your teachers are going to get links to those as well. So that's great. Let's see. Murado in Miss Stevenson's class is wondering about prerequisites. What kind of schooling do you need? What's some advice on how you could prepare to become a Googler?
So I'll jump in here real quick. There is no one defined path that you must take to become a Googler. For me personally, if you joined in the Wayfinders, the session earlier, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. I had no desire to be a software engineer or to be in tech. And I did it because my dad wanted me to, which I know many kids do that. It wasn't until I actually got into school and I fell in love with programming that, priorities shifted. I also broke my foot, which doesn't help with soccer. And so that's when I fell in love with it and things like that. So you don't have to be, that one person who loves computers and who's always on them right now. It can come later. I've worked with people who don't have any university degree. I've worked with people who have lots of university degrees because they love school. And so the most common path to becoming a software developer within Google is obviously going to university and getting a degree in computer science or computer engineering related field, but you don't have to. Everyone can find their own path, and it's all just about the passion for creating and solving problems and building something new. Kevin, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, that was a great answer. I think just to add to that, some other ways you can get into it, like I actually got into computer science starting with block-based coding in Scratch. And so that's what led me to work here.
Yay, that's so cool. Okay, we have a couple questions kind of surrounding mental health, and then specifically from Hannah asks, what kind of ADHD support is there? Or so just talking about the mental health.
Yeah, I can start with this one. I think Google does a lot of introspection, looking at how happy the Googlers are and how everyone's feeling. Especially right now, there's tough times around the world, and an example of how Google helps us with mental health is this Friday. Even we get a mental health day, which is just a day off for our own wellness and well-being.
Google will also provide anything that we need to make sure that we are working at our fullest potential, no matter what that is. If it is screen reading software because somebody struggles to read the small text on the screen, you got it. If it's a chair because somebody, has sports injuries like myself, we got it. If it's anything you can really think of, Google will support you in order to make sure that you are, not to repeat ourselves, but happy and healthy and productive.
That's a great theme, though, to repeat for sure. Kevin, you mentioned earlier that you got started with Scratch and block-based coding. Olivia wants to know, what other languages are you now coding in?
I think over your career in software engineering, there's lots of different programming languages, and I think picking a specific one is not necessarily that important. I think a lot of the ideas you'll learn from any language that you learn are very transferable, very applicable to other languages. It's not like natural languages where there's a lot of knowledge you need specific to that language. I think in programming, all of the ideas transfer very nicely between different languages. But if you want me to name a few that I've been working in, Golang is the language that I'm using most recently. And JavaScript and Ruby are some of the languages I've used most in the past.
Oh, and Brooke?
So inside of Google, we get these cool little badges for various things. And I got a badge that says I've submitted code in 18 languages. I don't know what they all are. I honestly have no idea how I did it in 18 because I don't know what they are. I don't even know that I knew 18 languages. I, like Kevin, work mostly in Golang, but I've also used a lot of Python and Java in the past, and C++ as well right now. So like Kevin mentioned, if you have a really good foundation, then it applies across all different languages, and Google supports you, and you pick the best language for the task and you learn it. It's all about learning and growing.
That's so great. Well, do you know what, you guys? I think we're basically out of time. Brooke, did you have a few other slides there we wanted to share?
Yes, just one sec, sorry.
No problem.
Oh, there we go. So a final word from, that should probably say Googlers instead of Tooglers, but Tooglers at Google are teaching Googlers. So we do this cool thing. We put words together. Nooglers are new Googlers. But yeah, I will play this video real fast.
Google is a place that I just fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the energy. There was just a vibe that I wanted to be a part of.
It's just some place where I can never imagine myself getting bored, because we're thinking about billions of users. And so that's a lot of impact that you can have, and it's just really gratifying.
Google is so much at the forefront of technology, and the way that our culture is built, we are always looking for the 10x. We are always looking for the leapfrog innovation.
So you have to be willing to let all your preconceived notions be broken at any moment.
You're gonna have to make your own rules sometimes, and this is actually part of the fun.
I get to try new technologies. I get to implement them in different ways that maybe no other company has done them before. And so you can really go beyond your skill set that you think you have at the moment and push the boundaries.
The part that makes it really fun is there are so many teams across Google that have amazing expertise. And I get to work with these people, not only build something with them, but I learn so much.
Pick any topic and I can promise you there's someone here who is both better at it than you or more knowledgeable, and also, and more importantly, willing to help you learn.
Everybody here is so nice. They're so encouraging. So that's very reassuring to be in a company where people value you.
I am fortunate enough to work with people from a lot of different experience, a lot of different backgrounds, and we use that in our advantage.
It's really the best idea wins. There's a lot of debate, but it's really to bring those different viewpoints together, and that's what we want our products to represent.
We believe the benefits of technology should apply to all, and that's a mission that really is very, very inspiring.
So when I show up at work, I'm able to do all the things that I love, solving hard problems and working for the people that I manage. That makes it worthwhile for me to show up every day.
Awesome. That is just so great. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Kevin. So cool to hear about the Waterloo office. Hopefully very soon you'll get to be able to go back there and work from there after COVID. Dennis, thanks so much for being here behind the scenes, helping keep track of that forum. And of course, students and teachers. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope to see you in another workshop very soon. So thanks all for being here. Bye-bye.